See, I don't know if I can stop it. You said it when you set the meeting.
I gotta do this.
Oh, do you?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so, well, that was an update.
Well,
That was
yeah.
starting off.
Pause recording. Stop recording.
It's just record. Yeah, it's just, you just hit record, that's it, and then the stop button on the same thing. Yeah.
Sorry about that. On Zoom, I forgot to unmute ourselves. We just started the meeting and started the pledge. And we'll go into the agenda with item number 2.
Agenda approval.
Yes.
I would like to add a discussion item, please, to discuss a potential county state of emergency declaration.
Have we got that on here?
I didn't see it, but you can tell me if I'm missing it here.
Yeah, I didn't notice it.
Oops, no problem.
Okay.
Let's add it. Let's just put it as F. And I have some draft copies that Suzanne
Good.
worked on it for us to review. It's sitting on my desk too. Okay. So added.
Anything else?
No.
I would move to approve the agenda with the addition.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded to approve the agenda with the addition of item F, state of emergency resolution, draft discussion. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Motion carries. Under general deliberation, I've got a few items too that are non-action discussion, but follow-ups. The mobile clinic being one of them. Opportunity for public comment.
I have some. Does the court mind if I take my mask off?
We would like to hear you, so that's.
Yes, you
good.
can, for everybody, you can take your masks off to speak.
So I have 4 things. One is I looked at your agenda. I noticed the vacation of a street in Crane, and I'm always on the fence about that. But the one thing I always want to remind people, if there's ever another place that's going to get incorporated into a city in this county, it's Crane. Don't lose your right of ways for underground utilities. Do what you want with that, but that was always my argument.
Thank you. I do know that we did. I know I raised that
Yeah.
in our discussion. So thank you for bringing that up.
So the second thing is related to COVID. First off, I want to thank for the efforts of the county court to have a separate room. This meeting isn't an issue, but I simply wouldn't come in here at the last meeting. 2 damn full people, and we have an opportunity. You all know the obligation that's local government to public health that you have to provide for safety. And I hate mandates, hate them. I think they're the right thing to do. And to that end, Judge Jones, I know you put a Facebook posting that you got beat up on. And it boggles my mind to believe that on one side, people don't want mandates, me included. But then an encouraging word is beat up. So I don't get it. I hope this court gets a lot more visible in bringing this pandemic to an end. We're number 1 on pediatric cases on a per capita basis in the state. Pediatrics is out the roof, 18 and down. And what are we gonna do? Go tell one of them guys? I have 2 great grandkids for both posse. They're doing fine, but is truly concerning to me. And we can't force anything on anybody. I support those who don't want to wear a mask and those who do, but we all need to do the efforts that we can to bring this in. Second thing is liability insurance. I really applaud the fact that the county court is seeing fit to continue that important element. 5.5 years or so ago, we had a visit from Mr. Bundy, and he did an armed occupation of the refuge, and we ended up with the saddest outcome that could ever come out. But out of that came litigation against the county judge, the county sheriff, the county itself. Hillary Clinton, Governor Brown, and numerous others were all listed in this. But here all of those lawsuits at the local level against the county judge, me, and against Sheriff Ward, were against things that in good faith in doing your jobs, doing the job that I was doing, we did in good faith. And yet we get sued. 5.5 years of litigation to get to an end. And for this county, and this is what I want on the record, $66,000 to defend the retired judge and the retired sheriff of this county. $66,000. It's an amazing amount of money. But I also want to stress the difference between the person, Steve Gresty and Dave Ward. We protected, the county protected the two positions and the people that held, not those individuals. Was it protecting those individuals? Absolutely, but there is a difference. And so the last one I got in writing, and a little bit controversial, the envelope's got the original. I'm making a public records request, in particular of emails from Commissioner Doral and Tillman. And the reason behind it really goes back to leveling the playing field and some other things that have come out of that Second Amendment argument. I support the Second Amendment, but I didn't support the wording. You may want to consult with your county council. That's why I listed him on.
Did Mr. Smith also make a public records request
Yes,
and is that been honored?
they're going back and forth on costs right now between county council and Mr. Smith. The cost it'll take for what he has asked for.
And does this go through clerk or us or who?
Typically, we county council. We give it to him, then he works it from that end. He
I
looks
am
to see
aware
what-
there's cost associated with it.
he looks to see what he'll need. They reach out to then make sure the costs are not up front before the work is commenced. And if it's electronic, then it usually involves Jeremy as boss. So that's how Mr. Smith is.
Because I'm gonna go get on
Okay.
Oregon Parks and Rec
All right.
Zoom meetings. Thanks.
All right,
Good work.
thank you, Steve.
There's nothing we do, right?
No, you just turn it over to. Hello on the phone. Did somebody join on the phone?
Yeah, this is downstairs.
Oh, it is, okay. Did you have any public comment downstairs?
No.
Thanks, Jeremy. Okay,
I see that we need to approve the minutes.
yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's get right over that.
I would move to approve the Harney County Court meeting minutes of September 1st, 2021.
Oh, second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of October 1st, 2021.
September.
September 1st, 2021. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All right. Old business, resolution 2021-20, in the matter of creating the Pacific Power and Light Tax Fund. Tabled this from the last meeting. clarify, because the 2 years are correct, but there is no going back on what was assessed on what they have paid this year. This will be moving forward. So what they were assessed for 21, 22 will go into the fund, just like we've seen with CenturyLink, Charter, the others. So that was, I believe, was our only question on that.
Yeah, we just wanted to make sure the dates are.
Yeah. And that we didn't have to go back. That was my worry.
Yeah.
Because what a nightmare, because it's all been dispersed to all your taxing districts.
Well, that
And then you'd have to ask for all them back.
Was how do you recoup
Right.
money that was already.
Yep.
allocated? Well, I'd make a motion for resolution 2021-20 in the matter of creating Pacific Power and Light Tax Fund number 647 for potential refund credit.
I second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 2021 in the matter of creating Pacific Power and Light Tax Fund number 647 for potential refund credit, as directed by state taxing authority. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
I accidentally in the packet, but resolution 2021-21 in twice instead of this one. I think the online packet might need adjusted for the public. I'm not seeing this on the online
I was gonna
version.
make that comment during general deliberations is we need to have complete packets, including old business matters.
And this one got put in twice. I think they accidentally put it in twice. And
Right.
'cause this one's here, and then it's also down where we actually have it as an agenda item.
You think the number is right on our, what
Yeah,
we're signing, but
but in the online version, it got put into the PDF. This one got put in twice instead of this one
Oh.
being put in above.
gotcha. There you go. But meeting. Okay, on new business. Item A is Dr. Leosa, we have scheduled for 10:30, but I see she hasn't joined us.
I'm
Would you
here.
like to go now? Would you like to go now, or would you want to wait until 10:30? Do you have others that might be coming?
Nope, I think I'm good. If you guys are ready
Okay.
for me.
Yep. You may.
Okay, do I need to introduce what we're talking about?
So it's I'll read what's on the agenda. It's a revisitation of resolution 2021-14 in the matter requesting an amendment to remove statements on the resolution regarding no vaccines or vaccine passports in the county. And this resolution listed Harney County Public Health. And was my understanding was not run by Public Health or you.
Right. So my request with regards to this resolution has to do with I believe it's number 6, whereas on the first page, Harney County Public Health and Oregon Health Authority acknowledge that there are many instances where an individual, along with their doctor, decide that being vaccinated may be unsafe. And then on the second page, the first whereas, because vaccinated individuals may be able to contract and spread COVID-19, a space where only vaccinated individuals are present holds similar risk as a space where individuals are both vaccinated and unvaccinated. My request is that we change those to reflect Harney County Court opinion, or remove things that are medically incorrect.
Okay. The Commissioner Doral, you brought that to us. You comments?
Well, I believe that this was changed somewhat from a similar county resolution in the state of Michigan, and written up this way is similar to theirs. We did change some things, and all three of the county court members had time to review it. And when we did it, there was not anything brought up about public health having seen it, so acknowledge that. But as I recall, there was no disagreement or discussion on it. I'm fine with changing the Harney County Court. If that is acceptable to you guys, I'm happy to hear more.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with amending the language in there to reflect that it's not the health officer or public health, Harney County Public Health.
And weren't there a couple other, I don't have it in front of me.
Really,
I was gonna say, I think public health mentioned them a couple more times more than that.
Yeah, there is
You're
a
okay
couple
with
other
those?
mentions of Harney County Public Health, but they're, those are not factually incorrect. And so I'm not necessarily arguing those, but it may make more sense to change to Harney County Court throughout the document. But I'm really only asking the two that are factually incorrect to be changed.
Okay, so number 6, on the 6th one.
Well, 4 says public health, whereas
Yeah, I mean, would we like to change that to the Harney County Court as well?
do we want to just bring back a amended resolution for the next court meeting to be reviewed?
Yeah,
And I was wondering, since I don't think we've done this since I've been on the court, when you amend,
thanks.
is that the better way, or do you issue a new and rescind the other? What's the appropriate process?
That's, I don't believe I have been either, so we can do it. I mean, we've replaced resolutions with new, but that's actually showing us a replacement because we've updated her. This, I would believe, is definitely amend, is the proper language that we would put on it. And we can double check with county council. But
So then where on a document like this, if we made the amendments up here at the top where it says resolution number, would it say amended resolution and
Yes.
keep the same number?
No, it'll become a new resolution with an amendment, but it'll identify in the top section that you're amending resolution 2021-14.
Okay,
It'll identify the original, but it'll amend with the new resolution and number.
Thank you, Karen.
okay, so we will bring this back at our next meeting with the amended resolution. Dr. Leo, so would you like to see it before we get to that point?
I think that would maybe prevent having to go through this process again. So
Yep.
the only issue I see if you guys amend it and it has a new signature date is the line that says such vaccines are not mandated. If you sign it now, I mean, obviously that's untrue, but it was true in June when you signed it. So just something for you guys to decide how you want to phrase that. But in general, the other thing I want to say is I'm happy to be involved in these resolutions. I'm happy to discuss things like this with you. I'd love to have a unified front on COVID related things. So if there are future things that you guys want to bring and make resolutions, if we could just work together, I think that'd be great.
Agreed.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, we will get these changes made, be in touch and have it corrected in 2 weeks. Or
Okay.
actually, it's 3 weeks. All right. I
Okay,
think it's
thank you,
October
guys.
6th, is our next meeting, October 6th. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome to
appreciate it.
stay on. Okay. Yep. So under new business, item B, resolution 2021-22, matter of road naming in the county of Harney. We're getting a lot of these.
So I'm assuming it's the red line on the map. Yeah. Okay, so when they loaded that, this is all it showed.
Wow.
So I was like,
Well, the
this
other way.
isn't really making sense.
So begins in the southwest corner of section 29 and continues west through section 36.
Where's Highway 20?
You have a
478.
link here. 'Cause all of your stuff should be updated to yesterday afternoon.
I checked it this morning.
I just opened it.
Did you? And
Yeah.
was
Well,
that
the maps,
Yeah, the map is not there
right.
because we can't get it to go on.
There were still
Both
errors
sides of
this
the-
morning. So where's,
Okay, so you have South Harney.
so 20's up here.
So South
Um,
Harney
South.
runs like this. You have 78
Okay,
and you have
20.
20 here.
Okay, all right. So,
And so Mastries have a pivot in their house and their leather shop there. And then their son has a place
Okay.
here.
okay, 1, 2.
And so I'm assuming there must be a road that runs between the pivot and Doug's place back in here. But they're asking us to.
There's 3 homes that it's on the road and approval for a 4th home. If you can see the 3 homes, so they're 68422. So it is that full red line, 68424, 68426.
Okay.
They want to, they've chosen the name Quail Run Lane.
Although,
There was a comment
says-
about Cowboy Lane.
well, one of the things is it says Quail Run Lane in the, first page or so, section 3, but it also says see updated section 3. And then later they all agree to Quail Lane. So is it Quail Lane or Quail Run Lane? Is Bryce available?
Because in the vote, it just says Quail Lane.
Right. I tried to figure it out last night and did not.
So here, I visited with most of you by phone today, and the majority would like the name to be a bit shorter, like Quail Lane. And we'll use this email response as a sign off for the application once I get the responses.
Is that in our packet?
One of the many emails that was attached to it. It's So it looks like in there, this group says we are fine with Quail Lane, Kenton and Latasha.
Okay, that,
Joseph Lombard would be okay with Quail Lane or Cowboy Lane. Cowboy Lane is taken in the county, so if anybody noticed that, that could not be an option. It's already been used. Then down below,
okay. is
I think
that
Quail
something-
Lane is,
Is that what you're reading? Is that something we don't have online? 'Cause I'm
I think, yeah,
not
no,
following it.
no, it's there. Go up. I think that's the last page.
Yeah, this one is this. Yeah. So I don't believe we have the email. from- Other than that, I think we have it.
So, same. So if you're, Judge Reynolds, if you're feeling clear that they agreed to Quail Lane, the shorter title, Quail Lane, and that's documented, that's good to know.
Do we need this filled in or can we just fill it in by hand?
They filled it by hand. So I'm assuming this is the updated section 30. They didn't write in the name, but they attached the emails because they reduced the maximum letters from 9 and 2 to 5, reduce a Quail. Yeah. Quail Lane. QAILLN.
What?
QUAL. Actually, it would still be 2. Oh, number of words.
So they not count lane?
Oh, they're not keeping, yeah, lanes checked up here. So, yeah, look, well. 12 lane. Could call it California Quail Run.
Okay, so I'd like to make a motion for resolution 2021-22 in the matter of road naming in the county of Harney, state of Oregon. For anything else we need to add to the motion, just
call the name.
for the road to be named Quail Lane.
I second.
And moved and seconded to approve resolution number 2021-22. In the matter of road naming in the county of Harney, state of Oregon for Quail Lane. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. I just trying to figure out how to put a coordinate to it. I guess that's sort of
Off of South Harney.
off of South Harney, yeah.
That'll be that building.
Yep.
One I have.
Item C in new business, resolution 21-23. The matter of initiating proceedings to vacate County Street, Allen Avenue from Crane Banana Road to Fifth Street and 4th Street from Vista Avenue to Allen Avenue. So this was discussed at our last meeting. This is just the resolution that moves it forward to start reaching out to all the public comment. We approved in-house the change.
So I just wanted to ask, based on Steve Grasty's comment he made today about always making sure that, the accesses are still available should there need to be public works infrastructure put in and other things. Do you have any thoughts on that?
if we knew with the grant and the workings in Crane, if we knew more. I mean,
But
if with this one, it's kind of hard to say because we don't know, but I would think if more requests, that's gonna have to be definitely brought into this conversation. We don't know how it's gonna
Do we
run.
not retain any access then? by
Yeah, it
doing
did.
this?
It did say that last week, that it still retains.
It still retains the
Yeah,
ability to
that's what I
run
thought.
public works
Yes.
through that
Yeah, it
area.
did say that last week.
We
We
just don't ever build a road.
There
there.
just aren't any services out there right now. No water or sewer. I mean, I think Steve's right. That'd probably be our next town to move. Especially if they get water and sewer, I think you could see a lot of.
I mean, today's thing is to move it forward to a public meeting, but is this something we should, we should ask our county council about? I don't know, just for, so we know.
I don't think, never hurts to ask county council on anything. This has been pretty common for us, but I think,
We'll just make
Steve's
sure we're all clear on the vacating process. If it still keeps in place the ability to, put in necessary utilities and that in the future.
yeah, and I remember that language in there 2 weeks ago. But it can still be brought up in the public hearings. So.
Yeah, because
Well,
nothing's final in this
no,
process. We're
no.
just moving the process forward.
Right. And we can run that by county council before the end of it too. I can do that.
I'm fine with possibly voting to move it forward but then also asking you to consult with county council. So at a public hearing, if we want to appear and at least add that to people's understanding.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I would then move to approve resolution number 2021-23 in the matter of initiating proceedings to vacate by the county the streets Allen Avenue from Crane Vanetta Road to 5th Street and 4th Street from Vista Avenue to Allen Avenue located in the town site of Crane, Oregon.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded to approve resolution number 2021-23 in the matter of initiating proceedings to vacate by the county the streets Allen Avenue from Crane Vanetta Road to 5th Street and 4th Street from Vista Avenue to Allen Avenue located in the town site of Crane, Oregon. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. And opposed. Motion carries. Item D, order of appointment in the matter of appointing a pool of members for the Harney County Board of Property Tax Bills. The annual order that we do for appointing, if anybody can, I don't say contests, but questions their taxes, they can come before a board. And there are classes that we are usually supposed to take. It's never happened in the last, how many years, Dag? 4? 5?
Yeah, good morning, court members. Yes, we haven't had a hearing in the last 3 years that I'm aware of. The way the statute reads, I can help you with that a little bit. It requires the court to appoint a chairperson's pool and a lay member's pool. Generally, one of you would serve as chairman of the board with 2 members of non-office holding or public employee members of the board. So, and oftentimes one of those people can serve as chairman as well. So you're not necessarily a member of the board, but generally one of the 3 of you would serve as chairman of that board if we have a hearing. And of course, what we're appealing are values rather than taxes. And we always try to remember that. It is called the Board of Property Tax Appeals, but you're really only appealing value and not necessarily your taxes. So the pool is appointed by you guys, and then I select a board from that group. The hearings would be held on a day in February. As the last day to file a petition would be December 31st. So this is one of those formalities just to prepare for the annual session.
Could you repeat that?
I have a question. I noticed that the appointment is from September through June. Is there a reason for that gap, the months that aren't covered?
There wouldn't be a need for a board after June. The hearings have to be completed by then. So it's just a short-term appointment. And that way, if we have to find new board members for the next session, then we're not replacing people.
Thank you.
So are these individuals that have served on the board prior, Pete, is that?
Marty has. Julie is new, correct?
Yes, Julie is new. We had a previous board member decide not to serve any longer. It's helpful, when we ask for interest in this position, it's helpful to have folks who have a knowledge in real estate or banking or lending. They just tend to have a good background in this and are able to help fill that position. The training level is a lot easier when you have someone who is a realtor or in the lending world. It's pretty common among the counties.
No. Okay. So are they going to be required to take any classes then, as you'd mentioned, or how is that going to take place?
Yes, they're required to take a class in January.
Okay.
If Marty has to take a refresher course, Julie has to take a new course, and Department of Revenue does the training for the Board of Property Tax Appeals members.
Okay.
It's basically to show how the tax system works in Oregon, to explain Measure 5, 47, and 50, and how maximum assessed value differs from specially assessed value and real market value. Obviously, we all know it's a pretty complex system that shows that oftentimes when we hear these appeals, there may or may not be a change in the taxes because of Measure 5, 47, and 50. Oregon's tax system is quite unfair, as we all very well know, based on Measure 5, 47, and 50. So this is just a good training method for that.
Thank you.
And we would have to go to some classes also. Or a
Yes,
class.
it'd be a one day online class.
Okay.
Well, assuming that the Marty and Julie are willing, and apparently they are, I would move to approve the order of appointment in the matter of appointing a pool of members for the Harney County Board of Property Tax Appeals, that being 3 members of the Harney County Court as the appointed members of the pool, and the Marty Stewart and Julie Spake are appointed members of the non-office holding pool.
Second that.
Been moved and seconded. In the matter of appointing a pool of members for the Harney County Board of Property Tax Appeals. The 3 of us on county court and non-office holders, Marty Stewart and Julie Svakar. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Carries.
Thank you, you guys. My deputy Tammy Adelberger serves as clerk of the board, and she will keep you notified of what the training schedule looks like and how we progress into the season. Thank you much.
Hopefully we'll have none again.
Yeah.
we typically not have many appeals.
They come in and a lot of times Charles is really good at explaining to people how they get the stuff and why they're there.
It seems
And
to,
it seems to calm a lot of them down. So item E is scheduled for 11:30 and advertised. I doubt if anybody's going to show up, but let's go on. Let's skip it for now. So I have not read this either. This is the item F that Commissioner Doral has to be added that we had on there. So this is just a draft. Even though it doesn't say draft, it can be the real thing, and it's for us to review.
Do you know, Judge Runnels, if this was modeled heavily after one of the ones?
I gave her both a copy of Coos County and Jefferson County and said,
Okay,
put together what you think
okay,
fits us.
all right. So for.
So we can add, we can subtract. I mean, it's just,
So this is a draft of a
yeah,
potential resolution that would declare a county state of emergency due to
Yes.
foreseeable lack of adequate resources to respond to the basic needs for health, safety, and emergency services that we are concerned about.
correct.
Okay. I have a couple comments, but we can wait. One is anywhere it said Board of County Commissioners. maybe
I'm
County
sure.
Court.
Yeah.
I would, on the second, whereas I don't think we need to have due to the Delta variant. I mean, the recent surge of COVID cases, there could be a new variant
Yep.
come up
Yeah.
tomorrow. Let's just,
I was willing to even just strike Delta and just put variants, but I'm like.
Due to the
I don't
recent
know that
surge
it's
of
just a
cases,
surge of
period.
cases,
Due to the
period.
new variants.
well, I don't even think, I mean, they're all COVID of one type or another. They're all adding to the challenge. Unless the old ones don't even exist and the old variants don't even exist.
So you
anymore.
just begin the next part with has for their strain.
Correct. That's what I was thinking. And it covers,
So just that whole, all 5 words out.
yes, that was my thought.
Okay.
Again, there's a couple places where it says county.
Yeah,
the three.
county court.
But on the number 3 on the second page, the last, be it resolved that, I would say the county court requests that the state of Oregon immediately withdraw its vaccine mandates to prevent further exhaustion and departure of providers of core public services, including but not limited to first responder blood, in case there's a category that we're assuming and it isn't accurately captured, including but not limited to. What are your thoughts?
No, I think that that's good because there are other sectors that are being affected beyond those. By this.
And does anybody here have any concern about doing this if we do it?
No, we probably ought to share with
County council,
county council and Dr. Leos as a courtesy.
right?
We had a number 4. To reword something like this. Harney County requests, should the mandates not be withdrawn, immediate acknowledgement that the state of Oregon will have in place in Harney County the resources needed to cover healthcare, fire, EMS.
What are you hearing from Suzanne or anyone on what we're anticipating possibly? How about the hospital?
I left a call from Jeff Serrani and he hasn't returned it because I'd like to know, are we gonna have an EMS?
I've heard we will not last night in a meeting with hospital worker that came to our school board meeting concerned about what's going on.
Yeah. So here's another. It's something yesterday. And I think why this is legit. So now we have almost 50% of the county vaccinated. And in the state, what, 75? So we're gonna turn our backs on all the people that have followed through now. I mean, is that right? That's not right either.
What do you mean? I'm not following.
So we're gonna,
But the
Go through the
mandate
field,
hurts
so we're gonna
those that
lose
are
all the-
vaccinated also.
so now we're turning our backs on those that haven't followed the mandates. Or got the shot or whatever you want to call it, however, whatever reason they decided to do it. Now you're gonna turn your back on those. Because,
Well, you're gonna put them in positions where they're hurting for services. And
right, so I think that's a fair fight the other way now.
yeah, that when's enough, because now you're just hurting everyone. You're not just.
And you weren't involved in the AOC meetings Monday?
Just natural resources. I was
Sure.
traveling.
Let you
Right.
get up early.
So I was in the lucky position as co-chair of the Public Safety Committee, a bunch of, at the end of last week, there was some commissioner requests to add this topic onto the agenda as possible action. And there were concerns by the AOC staff that it's gonna be very divisive, and that's not, AOC is not about covering everything for everybody. It's, they don't want to divide people, but so it was for information. And when I brought it up, I tried to couch it in just what Judge Runnels is adding as a number 4. I said, this has been brought up. Some counties have done it, some more are planning to do it. The key thing is counties will be in a hurt locker, if these things come to pass. And by declaring a county state of emergency, we look to the state to say, since this is largely happening due to it, what resources can you provide and how can we go forward? So I do appreciate Judge Runnels writing something up now that we can wordsmith if we need to, because that was the point I wanted to get, was not AOC supports, but with the voice of AOC, and there could be counties that aren't anticipating this issue, and then we'll find that they do in fact have this issue. None of us know. Yeah.
Well, we're fortunate because we are so small.
We are.
That we do know these folks that are going to be leaving positions. We know them personally. And so not everybody in counties,
Right.
Have that same sense because we
Correct.
do know our folks and we know how this is literally going to affect us.
I didn't feel it was a divisive issue. I don't think when there's an elephant in the room, we shouldn't be able to at least talk about it. I guess some people thought it was really bad. I mean, I wasn't looking forward to chairing that meeting because, it was going to be to navigate a minefield, but I do feel when you silence people in a membership of an organization, they lose interest in being part of that organization. So all things considered, it could have been a lot.
I sent Commissioner Myron an email. And
Oh,
I
you
just
did?
said, what I just said. So in Portland, you have how many ambulance service areas? So
They
one can
just
probably
pull
cover
from
another. We can't. So I pointed that out to her. I said, I'm not debating your comments, but here's what I need to look at, and they take care of my people. So this isn't for an argument on respect your positions, blah, blah, blah. She doesn't respond to me. And I think that's, and I'll give her a
I
week or so. but I think
appreciate,
that's-
I very much appreciate that, Judge Runnels, because again, I understand the stress on everybody of different viewpoints. But her particular comments were over the top in being kind of blaming and outraged that people would even,
She's a
bring these
doctor.
up,
She's been
and
in the-
that
She's been
offended-
in the hallways. I mean.
that
she's
offended
seen
me,
the
but
difference.
I didn't need to say
And we
that.
But did you see her smirk when it passed?
It's
A little
not,
smile, like,
this truly wasn't about power. And
No,
I don't
it's
think any of the
not.
counties that, since it didn't get, AOC didn't take it for action, they tabled it. I don't think any of them are angry. I don't know. But I certainly wasn't. I mean, this is a process of an association and an organization. It can go either which way, but I actually am glad that we didn't bury it. So,
Sure.
yeah, I was like, oh, boy.
Yeah, because they'd be traveling.
Well, it was all the stuff leading up to the meeting that was really interesting. But not to get off on that topic, but one thing that I did not like, I overheard in the board of directors, and I didn't listen to the whole thing, was a recommendation by one of the staff that we may want to change, instead of kind of like a 2/3 of the membership have to vote for something before it's have to maybe go to 90%.
I'll go 75. That's as far as I'll go.
Yeah, that's a
Even
ridiculous
then,
standard.
If you
It is.
have over half in an association, the voice should be heard of the majority, and they always have the ability to write an opposing.
And that's all
opinion.
coming out of Washington. Speaking bills.
Well, thank you. I wasn't gonna communicate with that commissioner, but I just wish she would understand that she can express it,
It's
but
not
there's
a
a
one
professional way to
size fits
Of
all.
course,
express that.
they have staff, so I'm sure her staff is read it, and they're gonna move it on to
Yeah,
her or not, but
yeah.
no, I'll give her a week. So why don't we get our corrections to Suzanne? Have her redo it, then I'll get off to Dominic. We'll plan on, October 6th is still under the 18th window. Just to put it forward.
Yeah, I mean,
Mark says he thinks something's gonna happen on October 4th, and I don't know what he's talking about. Have you know, visited with him?
He said the governor's being brought to light of all the situations that's going to be created, and he's
Is there a special
hoping,
session?
but he's hoping that she will make some adjustments.
so I guess my question is there any reason we would need to have a public meeting to sign this prior to October 6th? Is just what I ask you all, if you think that it's important to get it declared prior to October 6th.
I think we could make a motion to sign it with our
corrections.
corrections.
Oh, okay.
We're satisfied with our corrections and before, and after county
We
council
did
review, to sign it and move it on.
Okay, that would be, yeah, great. Appreciate you having them put this together. I think it's kind of the least we can do to put on notice. We are gonna have some big challenges that we alone cannot solve, and if there's anything you can do before it happens or
So,
help after it happens.
so kind of in conjunction with this, citizen 2 weeks ago asked that I tried to set up a meeting between the two city managers, myself and the governor. So I reached out to Leah Horner, made that request. 2 days later, I get, what's it regarding this? She says, well, you can imagine she's getting inundated with these calls. She says, can you wait and just do it during the county chair meeting? And I wrote back and I said, you know, Mark Bennett and Baker, I know, has talked to her. And she called
Everybody else
Grassley a
has.
few months ago. I said, and here I'm trying to do it the proper way and I can't get an audience. It's really frustrating. I hope everybody else is getting the same answer. And it's snarty. She said, everybody's getting the same answer. So I told both city managers, I forwarded them all the chain emails, proof that I did it. And they're like, just take care of it in your meeting. We're fine. Just Burns gave me their resolutions and take any comments off this you want. So I guess I'll just wait for that. But I asked,
Thank you.
we were denied.
Thank you for doing that.
I can prove it. Both city managers have the chain of emails.
No, they pick and choose who they want to give an audience to.
And one of the
Somebody told me, she hasn't got the votes out here, Pete. She ain't gonna acknowledge you.
And
True, but
and I hope
I
some
don't
of
care.
the-
That's still not right.
Yeah, it's not not her role to pick and choose between those that vote.
I really
or not.
doubt if she saw the letter from Harney County Public Health. I think it went to OHA, that's
Really?
the response.
I'm
from her.
sure. it got
I'll
buried.
bet you she
I'm
never
sure
saw
it
it. And I think she know that, hear that. But whatever,
Are they even giving you Friday meetings? still?
they're scheduling. They're
They've been
random.
sporadic.
They're sporadic, yeah, they're not.
Well, I hope that something good will happen, but I know that on predictions on some of the bills during the legislative session that are good, trusted legislators that I think do a great job, thought might go a different way they didn't go. They didn't go the way they hopefully predicted it would. So I don't take anything for granted now.
So the tech office sent an email yesterday, that's Training Employment Commercial Consortium, I'm on the board. And so they fall under the state of the contractor, so now they're up in arms about it. And they want to have a meeting. Bill Harvey responded, he still thinks it's gonna implode before October 18th. Don't force anybody to get the shots. And that's right. I'd still stand that ground. I'm not forcing anybody to get a shot. We're gonna play the game as far as we can play the game.
Judge Reynolds, would you write this down as something to ask county council about? The difference between exceptions and exemptions, there's some legal difference that includes liability, et cetera, and who ends up doing what, and if they're granted, and thank you. I'm sure
Exceptions and
topic.
exemptions. Yep, I've heard that come up.
maybe,
Well, and
maybe,
even the scope of the medical exemption I've heard is only if you've had an anaphylactic reaction to a shot. And so if it's even the medical exemptions that narrow, most people are not going to be able to fall under a medical exemption. And so I know some people that have been, to keep their employment, feel forced to get the shot, even though their doctor can't write them a medical exemption, even though they have significant health issues. And so even the medical exemption is too narrow in its scope of what doctors are being told they can accept as a medical exemption.
question is, Judge Reynolds, is it still, you're thinking that any employee, county-related employee that may fall under any of these mandates, that if they submit the exception, that it will be filed and not judged? Thank you.
Betcha. That protects us against the fine, and who's gonna? It's not for us to decide if the religion is correct or the doctor is correct. I just want it in the file. That protects us of the fine should it go that far.
And
Probably not right, but-
I appreciate that the.
Because we know we can't afford
exceptions-
these.
It's a reality.
Yeah, I appreciate the exceptions getting posted on the county website, HR.
Yeah. And we have had one turned in. I won't mention names. We have had one turned in. Religion. It's in the file. In the story, in my opinion. Okay.
Journals, do you want to make the motion since
Yeah.
you have a good thought out well?
I have a resolution number. We can come up with that. Four. I'll pencil that in.
Now, I noticed that some of the other counties, no, never mind.
Well, the other one I've seen is Baker. And they're usually kind of radical.
Okay, no, that's fine.
I think she took most from Jefferson. I told her Jefferson was probably the one we would lean to more than Coos, but take parts from both. So I'd make a motion to approve resolution number 2021-24 in the matter of declaring a county state of emergency due to foreseeable lack of adequate resources to respond to basic needs for health, safety, and emergency services, pending changes discussed in court, and approval and acknowledgement or approval of county council.
I second.
Been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 2021-24 in the matter of declaring a county state of emergency due to foreseeable lack of adequate resources to respond to basic needs for health, safety, and emergency services, depending or with corrections as noted and county council approval to be signed upon those approvals. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 You will be sharing this with Dr. Leah, too.
Yes. Water use requests. We have a bunch.
Yes, it was.
You
I've read them
You read
online.
them?
So
Did you see
what about this
that
one?
one?
Yeah, because it's all right by me and I know what company that is.
Reappoint, or moving 5 different wells, the way I understand it. Is that right?
Well,
I don't understand. I'm not.
unless you know the township and range and all that, you don't know where it's going, is the real problem. Like, it'd be nice if I
I
had a
doubt,
map.
I doubt it will reduce water
Attached to
usage. Let me just say that.
No. They're playing the game of moving water around. Why they still can't.
I think that's gonna end at some point.
Not until it's changed at the state level, because there's nothing to address the transfer process until the legislature addresses it.
Did you have the meeting? Or the,
That big deal on Friday, a couple
Yeah.
of Fridays ago.
Yeah.
Yes, I did attend. It was very good.
Good.
Had a lot of influential people if we ever need to get things done. You know who the lobbyists are now.
Has OPB or anything come out with an article about it? I know that
She
Emily
was
Curitan was there.
in attendance. I'm not sure. I don't really stock OPB.
I saw they picked up my letter and put it with an article about fits.
No,
Anybody catch that?
no, I'd like to read that. Is it good?
I don't. really
I saw it
follow
on Facebook.
news
Yeah,
or like
well,
I'd
it was
like
an
to.
interview with Mark, I think. And then they talked about Mark's doctor.
Oh, no, I'd like to
And
read
it
that.
had to do with the
Antibodies? No.
the horse.
Oh,
Like,
ivermectin.
I mean, it kind of went there.
Oh,
I saw it on Facebook. I don't know if I can find it.
You
And
know-
then it had my thing in there. It says, county
So
judge
this-
pleads
it
for
was an
vaccination.
OPB article.
recent, real recent or a while back?
Probably 10 days ago.
Didn't catch that
See
one.
if I can- I'll see if I can
don't
find it.
know
I-
that I ever see anything from OPB anymore.
I-
Even on my Facebook feed, I don't see anything.
Well, I like to read it all, even if, I mean,
Let's see if I can
the
find
ones,
it.
especially if people we know that got interviewed, and then if they tell me that isn't what I said, that's good to know too.
Yeah.
No, Emily hasn't been around here, so.
Now she even got to ride in a tractor.
All right, let's. Court dates are normal for October. You know, and we probably should do an email around all this, try to pick dates to go to some other meetings. in
It's
October.
that time of year.
Are either of you gonna go to WIR if they have it?
In Vernal,
Where?
in Vernal, Utah.
Is that where it is? I don't know.
I thought about it. I was gonna talk to some of the guys.
It's October like
12th,
13, 14,
Yeah,
15, something like that.
first part of that week.
I was gonna talk to Todd and Dan and
Yeah.
see
Talk to
what
Dan.
their opinions are.
I'm currently scheduled for the Eastern Oregon Economic Summit in October, but I'd be, I'm thinking it's not gonna go. I don't think a lot of people registered, but I don't know for sure.
SMAC just got canceled. It's supposed to be next week.
Which one?
SMAC.
Oh, okay.
They can go smack by them.
They could do Zoom, but we're still on quorums. It's such a
Oh, they haven't done
mess.
anything with that.
So the kind of chair said, I just don't see the point of it. We can't do anything.
No, that's fine.
So, and we've been doing this for 2 years. We're acting like we're doing something when we're not. So. And then next Friday is our District 2 meeting. And you heard what she said yesterday.
All virtual or not,
Or
not
we
even
could
hold
go-
them?
No, or we could go in person hybrid.
Oh,
I think that'd be hard to set up for us.
it almost seems like hybrid
Doesn't mean in
aren't
person
as good
and
as either doing it virtual or, I don't know. I mean, sometimes they are good, but it's good for the people to be together that are there together.
I just think it's more
But it just-
productive to have one-on-one. It's just not the same on the Zoom meeting. Those people are more distracted. They just are.
yeah, I
The-
get distracted.
Changes the content of
Mhm.
the meeting when you don't have people present.
I agree.
We could borrow the owl from the watershed council even for it potentially. Set up a hybrid.
Borrow that.
Owl, it's a.
On the what?
Or we could get our own owl. It's a camera that as people speak, and it can show multiple people at the same time speaking, and it puts it up on the screen. So anybody that's not present can see who's speaking, and it just automatically,
Voice activated type.
yeah.
Do you have any idea what counties would want to come here?
So I would think Klamath would, because DeGroot's running, so it's Klamath, Lake, James, I'm sure would come. Deschutes, Tony would come, Kirk. Rumor would come, I don't think Seth would. Is that all?
I don't.
Yeah.
Um, whatever. I mean, we
I mean,
can have hybrid.
I don't know if AOC could get it together that fast. But I can let Gina know. We're still willing to go in person if they are. Imagine Central's still available. I can,
All we need is
as far
Wi-Fi.
as food, I mean, I had made the comment, I'd be willing maybe to put together a basket lunch. So it's not like we had to get a caterer. I could do chorizos and garbanzo beans and the salad. I think people would enjoy that.
You're making me hungry.
So
You want me to reach out and try to do it in person? See if she thinks there's time.
whatever you guys think.
I see
flexible.
that people are just so much more distracted online, and that it's just not the same level
Are there some
Okay.
good agenda items forming yet? For it?
I think these emergency declarations are a great agenda item. I think we're all in the same boat.
Yeah.
Maybe not Ben as bad. Ben's got the hospital, it's maxed out too, though.
of, yeah,
So,
if you lose the staff there, boy, it's not gonna feel very good.
the landfill issue was on there for a topic, but that's kind of resolved itself.
You have,
Yeah, they're making exemptions for under 200,000.
oh, finally.
So, yeah, we made some headway on that one. So that looks good. I'm just waiting for the final rule to come out. So it doesn't affect any of ours. We have to do basically what we do now. We have to reporting. We're a little lax in reporting from French Clean. You know, what's done, what's taken, but we're working on that. So then the Groot had or Simulink had so he would come. He had something he added for a topic. I don't remember what it was. I'll reach out to Gina, tell her we're willing to have it in person if she thinks she can get it together. If not, we'll go on. We can probably add, and we can add anything to it as far as topics go.
I've got some general deliberation items when we get around to that.
So do emails for, try to set dates.
Yeah. What was that?
For the county meetings.
Oh, okay.
I think I know we did fields in the fall last year. Never made it back out like we'd hoped to.
So we
So we
just
should do
do,
fields and we usually do 3 in the, it's either 2 or 3. 3 in the spring, 3 in the fall, 2 in the spring, or 2 in the fall, 3 in the spring, however you guys want to do it.
seems like
Maybe it depends on-
fields
Now
always,
that things. have quieted
they
down in
come.
Summer.
they
Yeah.
come.
Yeah, I think we should do fields for sure.
Let's do fields. And then maybe I'm wrong. It just seems like lately the spring turnouts are better than the fall. I don't know. People are hustling. I mean, they're always busy.
We got skunked and Druzy last year, right? We didn't go in the building. We stood outside. And Riley, we got just the teacher.
And that was by accident. So I'm wondering if, well, the diamond turnout was good last spring because I did a lot of outreach, and I think when we do a lot of outreach,
Which I did.
when we work it
Yeah.
hard, we
Halls
get
and Riley too. Some of them come to the NRAC and other meetings, so they probably didn't feel like they weren't being heard. you know,
Right.
so.
So it'd be actually, so we would go to French Glen this year versus Diamond. I started bouncing those 2 back.
Yeah.
Try Drew's, I mean, it's gonna depend on our schedules too. We can work in 3. My guess is we can work in 2.
Well, just see what you can throw together, and we'll help make phone calls if we know people
Okay,
to call. Once,
fields for sure, and then I'll toss a coin. Okay. All right, go ahead, Commissioner.
okay, so just hodgepodge of things.
Then we have our late items too.
Okay. So again, if you have time to review the BIC, Blues Intergovernmental Council risk opportunity thing for Harney County, please do. And there is a meeting to give them back the feedback. It's a Zoom meeting on Tuesday, the 21st in the morning. So if you read it before then, if you aren't going to be on that call, just send me your email and I'll make sure, or, it gets in there, or give me a call and I'll take notes. But that is September 21st at 8 in the morning is a Zoom call to review the Harney County one. I have reached out to Susan Dover Spike, Tony Spakar, Kelly Edmondson, just as some other kind of people. I'm going to send Steve Grasty an email to see if he has anything. And I know Kristen, you have it. So you know, maybe it's good. I haven't read it yet myself, but I just want to get that on your radar.
Okay.
Also, today, I'm going to the airport committee meeting. We're going to be briefed on the airport master plan and encourage anyone who, including you all, would like to come, or if you know someone you think ought to go. Stakeholders can come to. It doesn't just have to be the committee. It is at the airport at 2:30. It's supposed to go from 2:30 to 4 today. Wanted to ask if there's anything new on the Rivers Democracy Act going on.
At this point, when I talked to Todd about the other meeting, I was gonna ask him, I wasn't able to make it to their last kind of powwow of plan forward. And so I'll see where that's kind of gotten to and we'll go from there.
Okay. Let's see. I think it's good that Judge Runnels and others have figured out these accommodations that we're trying to work forward to the better public meetings. There was an email from the clerk that had just mentioned some of his, views on all that, and implying that you almost need a different kind of a room, which we don't have different rooms. We're pretty maxed out in the courthouse. But I just wanted to mention, should it ever be that we end up making the basement conference room the general county court meeting room, there would need to be some work, because right now it's still very much got a lot of 4-H stuff in it and whatnot. But at any rate, I think it's good effort so far since last meeting, trying to improve things. Is there anything you wanted to update us on, Judge?
No, I look at what we have done. When I started, we were in there and we had 8 chairs around the room. We've made a lot of improvements to this.
Well, unfortunately, a lot of other counties have an actual
Proper.
courtroom
Right.
to meet in, and we are not in that
No.
situation.
Right.
I don't think we do some major remodel to do that. And
I just don't see that we have the footprint to accommodate it.
One of the things that was on the public safety, AOC Public Safety and Steering Committee talk was about priorities and things moving forward. And the state list of courthouse renovations and replacements is a thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know that have we even ever attempted to get on it. Do we even think we need to take
We
years
need
to
a
get up?
project. Right now, I think we have a project I would like to put forward. It's not huge, but we got to redo those doors. And I'd like to redo our handicap access. So people can come, if it's two, that's just a thought I had, if it's 2 cement walkways that come kind of from each corner,
It's slope up,
that slope up, and we come up to a,
open ramp.
and we have, or so you still are below, you're not at elevator level when you hit the front doors, but I think that's something we need to look at. When we have access, it's not the best. But and those doors need replaced. So do we look at it as a whole package? Do we put in for health there? That's
You know
one
what
thought.
scale of remodels?
I don't.
It's
I
from everything.
I don't, but I know some of them are mega huge.
The last they did here was the heating system. We got help there.
So basically what we were told at the meeting is pretty much
Get your
because
plans ready.
the funding, all the money the state had last year, a lot of those that were on the list got done. And so there's still a few left from the list, and we want to always have a list. And we're sure many counties have needs, so they need to make sure that list doesn't go down to where they don't fund it, independently like they do now and just make it. So anyway, that's good to know that you're already thinking about those things.
I don't know how I can see us getting. I don't know how we get up the steps. But there's people out there that do that type of thing. Maybe we pay for a study and
With this being a split level building, the only way to do it is with the elevator.
Yeah.
just don't have other accommodations other than the elevator
Mm.
that will function well. Because otherwise then you'll limit your capacity for flow. If you were to add a chairlift or something in, it would really take up a lot of that stairwell. But making
So-
sure that maybe we upgrade the elevator. How old's the elevator? I mean,
Mhm.
I know, something like that. I don't know when it was.
And maybe we just
last
put in a project under
addressed.
ADA accessibility, and then we get for a grant maybe to find a study to be done and
So right
get
now,
someone that does that,
Well-
has done buildings and says, oh,
It'd be nice if we could get it out of the fairgrounds as well as here, because we do not have good handicap anything anywhere.
I was gonna ask, I drove by the fairgrounds this morning before I showed up here, and I see they have fire camp going there. There's the tents everywhere, but yeah.
oh, they set it up here.
It's in their
Last time I
fairgrounds.
talked to Jeff Rose told me they were gonna set it up at Riley. Hey, that's
Uh,
good money. That's good.
I was gonna ask you
No complaints.
financially, how does that work for us financially? That was my curious thing, is like, I hope.
Oh, it'll be
Yeah,
a,
they rent it.
It'll
They've
be a
been
good
renting
shot
all
in there.
summer.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Any updates on how the RV park stuff is going?
Power was our last hang up.
so, yeah, so. Warner came and complained to me Friday night about his advertising on the reader board. It was wrong. Warner, I can't.
But I don't know.
So I couldn't find any further members. And I'm- First, I thought you meant it's a plastic sign. I said, well, we can't get that fixed before tomorrow. I said, they're just gonna have to ask them for a refund. You know, fair board. And he said, well, it's a reader board. And I said, oh, well, we can fix that. So I went down and talked to Rick. I said, hey, got a problem. He texted Chance took care of it before the next day. Said Werner Engineering and said High Desert Engineering. I said, well, kind of how I feel about my RV park not being done and my Sally Port not being done too, Warner. It hit me wrong. Told me on the Lions booth. He said something about OTEC and their linemen, or there's some type of dispute between their linemen going on. And some are saying we ran the wrong cable from underground. And
That they
Heck.
ran the wrong cable.
Heckman did exactly what he was told to do by their techs. First I'd heard about it, which ticked me off.
No, it kept the facility from being used.
Yeah. First I heard that, though, it was a power thing. So I sent Warner an email Monday morning. And said, I want more specific. What the heck's going on? Haven't heard back from you. So that's why the RV park wasn't ready. And they were waiting for one pump on the one part on the lift thing. I was afraid somebody's gonna get in there and hook up their sewer. And we would have had a mess. I called Jordan last minute. I said, park something in front of that gate. Don't let people in there.
No, they roped it off.
Yeah, he said he would go flag it off. Or something. And I think the next phone call I got was he had COVID. Or actually, he already had COVID that, but I know you're sick. Get this done.
We got it.
So that was
And then
frustrating because we had people.
Redistributed everybody and it all worked.
It was
Yeah.
frustrating. I was hoping to have it all up and going. The promise was middle of August.
Well, the contract said July 30th.
Mhm.
So what do we do when a contract isn't fulfilled on time? What is the recourse for that? Because otherwise we're setting a precedent of these dates are just arbitrary and you don't have to hit your target.
I don't, when it comes down to parts, if it's a parts thing they can't get because of the pandemic, I don't know.
But not
And I don't
all
know
of
if
it
that's-
was that.
No, the fence isn't done.
And
I would assume the fence would have been up.
Even the lift, when did they order the lift versus when did they need the lift? You know, like, they'd have to prove that it was really.
I've
back
definitely
ordered.
learned on both these projects, those things. I don't have the answer, but I've learned that's something you want to be upfront on. You want to make sure it's in what's my recourse if you're not done by.
'Cause we.
And I'll bet you
don't
every
have it.
contract probably has some type of protection. Like this, I called him yesterday. "Well, you guys were supposed to be here last Tuesday, was the last I heard. Well, ACW doesn't have the right rock. They just got it in today. We're scheduled for Friday morning. That's okay. So, it's just held up because I wanted to seal coat these lots this
Before
summer
winter.
before winter. I says, I just need to know. I said, it's just delayed me and everything to take care of. And I said, I need to get hold of Ronnie. Well, Ron works in the same lot as, I'll make sure Ron gets up there and talks to you. Okay, help me on this. We've been waiting on you. A 3-week project.
Um,
And then Mike's Fence, their group all came down with COVID when they were supposed to come out here. So that delayed 2 weeks. I mean, it's just, I don't know what to do. I don't have the answer. We've still held their check. They haven't got their last payment.
That's
We printed
good,
it
at
on-
least
We printed it on June 30th and it's still in Bob's office.
Yeah.
It goes nowhere till that project's done.
That's the big thing, is that's your only course of the.
Yeah. And we have no
Action.
final, we're not close to final billings on the RV park. They won't- and they've been billed for half yet. So, that's really all.
Hey, did we forget to do the resolution about the budget?
11:30.
Oh, at
Yeah.
11, okay.
A few more minutes.
Just not to get into a lengthy discussion on the CVSO stuff. It was good to get that letter from Angie. It was very informative. I appreciate seeing big picture. But I do want to make it clear that I am willing to allow my office to be used if needed by their employee, if their employee is still working for them and they just don't want them on site because of a vaccination choice for a few months if needed. You know, I don't want the relationships to be bad. I don't want getting into each other's business. I want an excellent provision of services. And, you know, reasonable accommodations is a good way to do things if it's a job that isn't in people's faces all the time. So you're on the board. I just want to offer that.
I'll pass that
If
on.
you will pass that on, I mean, I presume that if that's still part of their plan and they just can't have someone there, I would just like to offer that. I've certainly learned to work from my home office a lot.
Okay.
And would help out if need be for an indeterminate period of time.
So, I mean, it's still playing out through his grievance. Says a grievance. Probably shouldn't talk about it. There's 3 things playing out and they're trying to take them step by step. And there's still room for me to make that offer. So, and I have.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I don't need to. I just,
Right.
but I do want to say also, I have a business-like approach. I don't go high into the right on things. And even with all those things in mind, the county is responsible for those services, and we contracted with the senior center. It's been contracted for, it sounds like 30 years, and that it's worked well for the most part. So, you know, but just know that it wasn't a pitting of anything. It was something brought to attention, awareness. Okay, let's look into it. I don't think we should ever not look into something.
Fair statement.
Okay, and I guess last thing is on my thing. I understand you got a notification from OSHA and you responded to them. Would you share that with us?
So it came to Deanna and I will let her share it with you, but we got turned in after our last department head meeting.
That's
It was in the
fine.
basement meeting room. We had about 6 with masks and the room pretty full, probably 20 people. And I don't know where it came from for sure. I have no idea. Not a county way. I don't think.
What was the not, oh. Oh,
So the complaint came to Deanna. I responded through her. I did on my letterhead, just they wanted to know they weren't gonna investigate, they weren't gonna find, they wanted to know what our remedy would be. So I put on the letter that next meeting, we will hold it like normal. If people show up without masks, we'll cancel the meeting.
yeah, I mean.
Or we could do the Zoom, which I forgot all about doing Zoom.
But you also need to offer Zoom for the
Yeah.
ones that are not.
Or hold it
And
outdoors.
any in-person meetings. will
Can
be
I-
masked, and that's why you got the emails that they're mandatory today. 'Cause
Can
Well,
our,
we assume there was something more to the story.
So it's part of my response is why we. And in fairness, the last 2 weeks it was a little,
it was very crowded.
Well,
There was no social distancing.
what's her name made the comment when she said, I've been very careful for a year and a half, and now I compared to sit in this cesspool.
She said a petri dish.
Whatever she said, it was like.
It's like, welcome to
mm.
Safeway. That
It's
hated
like-
word.
So we just, so that's where it came from. But Deanna got the original complaint. Came with HR, not to me.
Can I send it in? I
He hasn't
have
responded.
He has not responded whatsoever. And
I'm
even
sure
when
it's
I
not
made
the
sure that I
first
did
thing
it.
on the.
He's
his
some guy
list.
out of, some OSHA guy out of Bend was where I'm at. So he could pop up, he could pop in here pretty easy.
Well, I like the idea of Zoom anyway, but do we have the Zoom capacity for many, many people to log on and listen in?
I
if
think
they
it goes
want?
up to 100.
Okay, that's great.
You
for
can do 10 or you
transparency.
could do
I'm
100.
just- I'm all for that. As far as,
We need to offer them.
Well, it's just sad because you do see so many other commissioners when they're on their Zoom, like their courtrooms are huge. You know, they have ample space to social distance and to spread people out. We're just so limited with this building structure, you know.
Grant County's about this size as well.
Yeah. And I know Scott limits, I think he limits 10 in his room.
Before it used to just be packed.
well, I've always really liked about the Harney County Court meetings when it first moved to the community and sometimes sat there just to listen and learn what was in Harney County. The courtesy and the patience to hear people out. And I just don't want that to change, but there's just more and more controversial things that end up being things we have to deal with somewhat and so.
Well, none of us were aware that we were going to have a crowd at the last meeting.
but when-
I'd never
We have a crowd like that.
been told.
I do want to
crowd.
limit comment to 2 or 3 minutes.
Well,
It's different today. You know,
we need
Steve
to
Jerry's the only one.
structure it so that we have, so people can listen to the meeting, you know, and partly why we got so many people in the room is because they can't hear, you know, and so obviously we're putting things in place to allow for people to be able to hear the meeting
Yeah.
without having to all be in the room.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, we'll go with this
it's a
format
good start
for now until we can plot and think of
until
other
we
ways.
can build a bigger courtroom, because it's just sad that we are so limited on capacity. But we don't have enough footprint to expand anywhere, so.
When we did this, so could that wall come out and this become an office by itself? And that would give us,
It still doesn't
Double.
give you much.
it doesn't
so
make the world of difference for the typical crowds we have.
Mhm.
And you're like, you're not John David for, that opens every single time. If you move that table this way, would that give you more, more seating? You know what I
I
mean?
think there was 6-1 happened, that was another.
Well,
We
and
first
even
started
our-
with it that
Our
way.
camera, the way it is,
That-
takes up quite a chunk of space, the camera cover.
That we can work on.
I don't know what changing that would look like, but it certainly eats up the room.
Yeah. No, up for discussion. But
It's 11:32.
so agenda item E under new business is the supplemental budget hearing for Predator Control Fund 243 and Health Fund 245. We'll open the public hearing for any public comment. It was posted in the newspaper on the September 1st issue, showing the changes that would be made. And we had part of this discussion, the materials and supplies under predator control. We discussed it. We didn't make the line to expend it, to show the state that we are ready for full coverage next year.
It's a correction.
So that is a correction. And then public health ended their ending cash balance at the end of the year was $704,601. Money that came in May and June, I put my guesstimated beginning fund balance at 170,000, which not expecting all these COVID funds to come in. Something I probably should have caught before the end of the budget. But I didn't think about it.
So when did you realize that money was coming in or did come in?
Well, I get those amendments that sign like there was like 21 of them last year. And then becomes so routine that it was on one that showed that we were gonna be getting that big chunk. That's when it should have gone, man, I'm gonna change that budget. And I didn't. Lesson learned. But this gives our actual starting balance correctly into public health. And then we calculate the 190 for the discussion of the mobile clinic. So while public hearings, we'll leave it open now for, any more questions on that? We'll leave public hearing open for 15 minutes. $7,000 to have a handicap accessible ramp added to it. So it changes the makeup where you can enter in one door next to another. That'll be the only downside to it, but I think that can be worked around myself. So $7,000 more. He doesn't have it in that line. It would qualify under the ARPA dollars. Public health and outreach to the public. If we would like to consider $7,000 there and make that happen for them, they would be happy.
I'd like to see where our ARPA money's going. Again, in my own mind, I sort of haven't been thinking about it lately. Maybe we can have a
We got 4
conversation.
things that we budgeted for and it took the lower half of it. It was the gel study. Was 150.
How much? 150?
And then we paid back,
The fairgrounds.
no, well, the
No, that was the
fairgrounds
town.
is supposed to come out of there, wasn't it?
Mm,
Is that-
They came out of it
is that a
somewhere else. We
different
already
pot?
did it. Yep. It was a different pot.
So the fairgrounds and the justice of the peace
Yep.
came out of a different pot.
Oh, you're talking about the reimbursement for lost
Mhm.
revenue?
Mhm. That came from,
And how
those
much-
have been done. They came from different COVID.
and do you remember the amount on that? budget?
I know it's
60 something.
2,000, I believe, for the fairgrounds. I don't remember the courts. Now, off the top of my head.
There.
So the
It was like
jail
around
study?
40, but it wasn't out of these ARPA dollars. It was somewhere else.
Oh, okay, I'm just,
So 100,000 of it though was for the predator control, and I have a little write-up explaining the justification for that on my computer.
good.
The RV park that we agreed to go,
Yeah, there was some,
and that was gonna be around 100.
in the
Well,
end.
we didn't know for sure, but. And there's 4 things.
I knew I started working on it the other day. I don't know that I had it all.
I just have to,
So, I mean, we expended like a little over half. In our budget, we expended like 400 and some thousand of the 700. Of course, and that's our first go round. We'll get that same amount in May of this coming year. So. I think this RV park was the biggest deal. I can get that for you, Commissioner.
you can just shoot me. an
Yeah,
email
I-
when you see it.
Yep.
Should we be looking or do, on dates for the budget board meeting?
No,
No,
oh, God, no.
I mean,
Give me a month ago.
are we supposed to meet in
In
October?
October.
Oh, that meeting. Oh, the quarterly meeting.
Yeah, no, the quarterly meeting.
I want the
Yes,
2022
yes,
budget.
Yes, Pete, don't you know what month it is?
Quarter.
I know the year is going fast.
Life is strange. Let's face it.
Yes,
It
let's
is.
get that baby set.
Because, was there any of the other members that had restrictions on when they were gonna be around in
Mm-mm.
October?
Terry's gone right now, so she should be back. She's in New Zealand, I think. Yeah, what works for you guys? it takes Bobby, like to give her 5 or 6 days to get her final stuff in. So that middle week. That's when you might go to WIR.
How about 18 or 19?
Yeah, how about 18 or 19?
I got nothing at the moment. That's very unusual.
Yeah, those are both open currently on the calendar.
Let's go to 19th. Let's do the Tuesday. 9 in the morning.
I'm good either way.
Okay. 9 to noon, we'll say.
Did you say 9 to noon?
Yes. Seems like we go over 3 hours, everybody starts getting rummy.
So it sounds like we're doing pretty good on not having to borrow from the road fund too much, huh?
I don't think we're gonna have to. After that email came out, but then we got our rural electric payments from OTEC was almost 90,000, almost another 100,000 on top of that balance.
Wow.
I don't think we,
Wow,
Bob and
to
I are thinking
me,
like we don't have
that
to
is
do
a great milestone, not just because of the budget thing from a few years ago, but just for even longer from
Mhm.
before. It's been something we've done.
Yeah.
And now that would be a great accomplishment.
I can remember Commissioner Owens saying, it didn't take us 10 years to pull out this. I think we can get it in 5.
That's right, that's right.
But just to keep it above 0 is a huge win.
That's good. Very good.
The Dock District 2 meeting, so mobile clinic. Do we want to commit to 7,000 to help them out on that ramp, or
You know, when do they need to
I
order it?
visited
they need
with,
to order it tomorrow? Well, not tomorrow.
with
The
Jody.
company is kind of,
Is there any way we can have a little meeting where they brief us? 'Cause
Well,
I'd like to
and
hear.
I
more.
visited with Jody about this a little bit more, and she said that when she used to work at the hospital, anytime that they were going to do a major capital outlay with anything, that there was kind of a way that they discussed it. And so I said, can you print that up for me? And then she got COVID, so I didn't really want to go to her office and go pick up the paper. So I'm gonna go pick it up from her today, and I'll share it with you and see if it's a way that we could, when people approach us about projects like that, that it'd be kind of a more formal process to figure out, you know, because anytime you acquire something, it'll go into the future. But it'll go into the future for expenses and other things. And so we can kind of do a little projecting and be able to
and typically it would be a
understand.
budget. I think anything capital would be in our budget process.
Well, no, well, I like the
Well,
idea,
it's a
just,
unique thing having a mobile
it's
unit.
kind of like them.
I was talking to her the other day and she said that she has patients that won't come in. Yeah, they need.
Now, I
they
see
need
her
stuff
using it as
more.
much or more than public health would. And that's why the ramp's so important, is she needs the ramp for her type of
Mhm.
patients,
Yeah.
even more so than
Yeah.
public
Because
health.
she
might
said that
utilize.
there's people that need foot care or wound care that won't come in. And they won't let them in their house because of whatever reason, where she could drive up and they would come out and they would be fine with that. But, so I agree. I think that she would use it a lot.
My mom was a home health hospice nurse, and that would have solved a lot of challenges for some of these folks and families in their homes, and
Very
them not wanting to let you in, but they need the help, you know, various things, you understand.
Well, and even with our limited capacity at Jody's department, it would be nice. This kind of adds a
A room.
And
capacity.
it kind of
you
fixes
know,
her
for
problem.
them.
with
It does.
needing more space,
Yeah.
so.
What I wanted to say about what you're suggesting, Commissioner Shulman, is I like the thought of it. I'd like to see what
Well,
that
that's,
process
I'm
looks like.
curious to know what she has. She thought it fit this. when I was talking with her about it, she thought that this type of thing kind of fit how they discussed it and that it might be a good way even for public transparency. Just so that people could see how the thought process went.
And it would get probably even more support from us by having a process where it's clearly thought out, they've already said all the good points, what some of the financial things are to include if there's, new insurance or other thing, factored in. And then, I don't know, it just seems like it would be, yes, it's a budget board decision on funding, but
But we do
It-
the
it could become a
background work to
tool.
justify it, to put it in
Yeah.
the budget.
It could
Yeah.
become a tool
Yeah.
for,
I don't
presenting that work. So
I don't just, this is
like
just,
say, she has it printed off. and
this
we
is
can
an out of the,
grab it.
this one's,
A
just a
unique
different scenario,
thing.
and-
It's a unique thing.
and I know the email I got, the company's asking when they can, they want down payment. They can get it to us in November now with this.
Even
added.
with the ramp.
Yep. But they
That's
want
not
the
a
down
bad
payment
timeline.
wired as soon as we make a decision today on it,
And
from the supplement.
we're sure that this is a reputable company.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
A lot of people like things wired.
Oh, they're delivering it. They're driving it out here from.
what if we never see them? Oh,
You
Lord. Oh, Lord.
never know these days.
When I took my daughter to Hillsdale College, which is in a rural part of Michigan, and I had my whatever MapQuest and, instructions, and it was different than the better way to go, obviously, and we're out in these fields, and I said, what if, my daughter thinks I have a strange mind, I said, what if Hillsdale College is really not a real college, it's some guy in a trailer with all these computers trying to generate, she said, Mom, I said, well, this is weird, we're out in nowhere.
That's-
Looking for this college.
That's what I did when we were on our trip in May, coming back through New Mexico, Arizona. No, we were trying to find we got to Four Corners, couldn't get there because the drive had closed, but it was out the gate. But then Sarah was doing the school stuff, go this way. Well, no, this car thing says go this way. No, go this way. So I was frustrated. So I was going fast. It was an older county road. And they swear I went airborne. They were both just screaming. Because I had these tips. Well, if you don't go that way, you only had 2 turns. Sarah said, this will be quicker. And my daughter is very much a Google person.
Well,
I don't trust you.
if we send the money, we hope to get the rig, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh.
So you're saying though that the ARP funds could be used potentially for something like that?
Yep, I have some on my desk. I read where that's for public health outreach. Or one of the first bullets.
And with the money they received, they would need an additional 7,000 to meet the.
Well, that was
Sure.
Nick's first concern was we didn't have the budget for it to add. This one already went over their budget, but they were finding it in other areas of COVID dollars. But if we needed to do the 7, I told them I would ask the court.
I mean, I'd like to, I just.
This is
Am I
something-
failing to ask?
This, to me, this
them?
is something that's gonna. We'll have with us for several years. It's not a one-time throw it out the window.
No, and I like I say, I see Jody's capacity for being able to service people.
It'll really help the people who live remotely and they are underserved.
I mean, I would be supportive of using ARPA dollars.
Yeah.
For that expenditure.
Don't think I'd try to figure it out first, but I won't tell them. I got the. okay.
Well, and like I say, I'm still gonna go pick that up from Jody and we can
Oh,
all
no,
look at it.
I think
and
that's a great
then,
idea. This
you
is
know,
one of
I
those,
thought it
that-
was a good suggestion she had for us,
Yeah.
of a tool.
no, I agree. I like it. And Kenny hasn't been able to do a lot of cap projects for years, so things are. Not that they're getting better, but they're better than they were, and now we can look.
Well, they're
ahead.
known, you
Yeah.
can't work with the unknown.
Right, right.
There's been some really good foundational work done in the last few years, Pete, whether it's the brownfield study, I mean, we're getting the foundation to do good things that are appropriate. And it takes money and it takes time, but there's been a lot of progress on that foundational level, that is essential.
I talked to Eric more about that road thing. I thought he'd be here today. Rarely he misses 2 meetings in a row. But we'll still have that discussion with him on that.
Okay, so he is planning on attending.
They're still, I don't know where he's at. I know Roxanne was out yesterday because her grandparents, I don't know if it's a COVID thing or not. But she was out for some family, and of course, they're related, so I'm curious. I don't know
Family
anything.
issue.
Yeah.
Did we need to acknowledge somebody today
Yes.
before court wraps up?
So we have a 10-year anniversary this to honor a county employee today. Jim Campbell, 10 years service, started on September 13th, 2011.
Wow, that went fast, that 10 years. Real fast.
Tell you, Becky Cunningham reached out to me. Recycling is in dire need of a forklift.
It's what?
In dire need of a forklift, 2 forklifts.
How does she usually acquire things like that?
They grants. And she keeps striking out on grants. She's been using a ACW forklift for the last 4 or 5 months. They're starting to knock on the door. So I can't. I have no magic pots of money. I can only bring it up. Maybe it's a discussion at budget time. And maybe I look hard and see where.
To me, that is a grant thing. There should
is a
be,
grant thing.
you know, those-
Unfortunately, it's an industry that is not.
It's a tough one because it's
hard-
needed.
It's needed, but there's no sustainability for it, and it's not a direct responsibility of us, and we just don't
No,
go
it's
down
not.
that rabbit hole.
No. She asked, I said, I passed on. I don't have no magic answers. I have no. None of the ARPA stuff hits or qualifies anywhere close to that type of project. So,
I know, I've had several people bring up the recycle center to me because it is county
Yep.
building,
Yep.
and they're appalled at the condition of facility, and wondered if we had any standards for renters in our buildings. And I said that is a fair point. We should have a standard if people are using the county building, that they have to maintain it to a certain level. Forklift or no forklift, either this is working or it isn't. But to just allow it to become a dump is not acceptable either.
she was, it's been a month. She was pretty happy. She sent out that week like 3 or 4 loads of cardboard, a couple loads of plastic. I mean, that's part of the problem. It gets looking so bad. They can't get the backhauls. You can't.
When are they open again? I need to stop by. It's been a long
Friday
time.
and Saturdays, 9 to 1, 9 to 2, 9 to 1, 8 to 1. Something like that.
Okay.
Go before noon and after 9. You'll be
All
good.
right.
It's a tough. It's tough. I don't have answers.
It is tough, and
It-
she's been
yeah.
trying to keep that thing going.
I mean, it's not that she hasn't given her life to it.
No, and that's where I'm
And we-
hearing from
and-
those individuals that
and-
it can be done differently,
Right.
and that's
And
part of the
Rick,
issue.
I think Rick got on the board. That's what Rick did in Portland. But to find out when there was a board meeting is tough.
But
I
maybe
told them, and
we
here's
need
the
to
perfect time of year.
raise the bar.
I told them they need, and I'll tell her again, they need to get, and I offered, I said, we'll pay for the mailing. You guys put together end of the year, make a donation, recycling tax deductible thing. Get it out in the mail. I said, I don't care if the county, we'll put on our, we'll pay for the postage. That'll help you. They could probably almost raise the funds to pay for this thing. But the year-end campaign.
But people want to see better organization, so if they.
It's true.
are gonna
And they'll be
contribute,
reluctant.
You know, until they see that
Right.
things are being handled differently, it's gonna be hard for them.
3 years I've pushed it on a year-end campaign. When people are willing to donate before tax time, it could be a very legit cause for some
You'll
people.
get some, you'll
Yeah.
get something.
But they won't get, they have yet to get the card together. And my offer still stands. I'll pay for the postage. It's not a hard one for us to swallow.
I'd like to make a general comment that I am very pleased with how the minutes are capturing some of the general deliberation items, because some of these conversations are very good, and we just don't have them as agenda items per se. They catch us all up on things, and so good job for DAG and whoever else is involved.
It's been good. Fairgrounds, you guys have a plan? Or
Yeah,
for
we're
the
having
events
an-
coming, the scheduled events? And
yes, we do. We're gonna work out those
I say
details.
you guys, do they have a plan? You're the liaison.
Yes, but
You're not the
we're
board member.
working closely with each other, trying to give support where I can.
Yeah.
They're gonna have an exit interview with Jordan tomorrow at 6. To try to make sure as they go back over the job descriptions for both positions, that they have them where they want them prior to putting them out for posting. If you like, I'll share those once they have their work session on those with you guys, and you can take a look at them.
Is it significantly different than? the
No, it
old
just
one?
needs some updating and some, make sure that things are parsed out how they want them, and getting some feedback from Jordan, I think will help actually with that conversation.
Exit interviews are good.
No,
Unless
that's
it's a circumstance that will
everybody's,
entertain it, but
Everybody's, positive about this. Exit interview, so that we can, find out, as he came in and got hired and as the jobs rolled forward, what he's seen that, could have been better in the hiring process too. And so I think he'll give us some good feedback. And that'll help as we move forward. We've had a lot of people knocking down the door wanting both positions. And so we
Really?
need to get it. Yeah, very, very much so. Some people excited about those kind of job opportunities. So we won't have any trouble filling them. We're just trying to make sure that we get the job
Good.
descriptions right as we're moving forward. Good.
And then that other one too, I told you about the MOU between the county and the fair board. I need to get that to you too. So that's in place.
The MOU.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, we need to just make sure we have everything up to date.
Yeah.
is there anything related to the MOU that's something we ought to be aware- I ought
It's
to be-
never. It was put together a couple of years ago, that never signed off by either side. It refers to, and then of course it's up for discussion because it's the first time, but it's the fair board is in charge of the fair and all the activities during the fair, and then the fair manager outside of fair, who is how much reporting comes, how much is the under me versus how much is under the fair board, not me, us. So there's that. I think that's one thing Jordan will definitely bring up, is this unknown.
Well, and
who
when
am I?
it's
I'm an
budget
employee of the
issues, it's
county, but am I
certainly-
in my,
But it went, you're the budget officer, and so there is a part of that where the manager will work directly with your
Correct.
office as a budget officer. But then a lot of the other is stuff that with fair board that is willing to continue to meet year round and monthly and work on fair, because fair is a year round event.
this just, this
Unfortunately,
just, I think just helps clear on
yeah.
top of the
but
job,
making
it just
sure that
helps
we
so there
have the
so that
MOU clear.
that employee knows, okay, this is where I do this, and this is where I do this with.
Yeah, and I think.
I'll
that
send it to
that
both
would
of
be
you,
good
and
to-
then you can get it on the fair board.
as we bring somebody else in place to have some of that, defined.
Yep.
clean and-
Yep, agreed.
No, we are very fortunate to have the fair board we had. They made that a very successful event, despite the weather occurrence. That flew the bouncy house through the air. I was
Bouncy
sitting
house
in the
thing.
crow's nest timing
Oh, were
the
you
ranchers
when it
class
happened?
when we watched it go flying.
Oh,
I'm like, wow, I hope they didn't have it open. Like, oh
Oh,
no.
I know.
how far did it go?
It rolled, like from the crow's nest, you could see it roll out towards the fence area. It's mostly what it took out as it rolled. It's a bigger issue, but
Drunk kid.
Yeah.
Well, I know the
my son
company,
just got out of it.
I know the company reached out to,
Oh,
like, a dispatch, and they wanted to report on it for their insurance company. So I'm like, that's a good sign.
Well, and it was a weather event.
It was.
You know, we had calm weather for most of the day, and then right there in the afternoon, we had a big wind prior to that. It came through and disturbed a lot, and then that wind hit, and it hit from all different directions. It was just swirling wind. And so it just picked it up and.
I heard they had it up once and took it down.
Yeah,
And
and
then-
then
and
it
then
calmed,
thought
then
they
the
were
weather
okay
calmed back
and went back
down and
up.
it looked a little better. I mean, we would have delayed our class.
Yeah.
I mean, our class had just started. And so the first entrant out there actually was like getting pounded with the weather. And so it kind of caught everybody off guard, that weather event did. And unfortunately, it just happened to land right there because the rest of the grounds had some weather, but nothing like what hit right in that spot.
2 years ago, it hit that ticket booth.
Well,
We had
that's it. It'll hit
On,
different.
on Thursday night. It's just, we got to move the talent show up to 6 o'clock, not 7 o'clock. Remember we're that for next year. People just
I
don't want to
will
wait
let people
around.
know.
They just don't want to wait
Yeah.
around. Or they get off work, they can come eat dinner and then go. But then with that 2 hour gap,
Yeah, I don't know why we couldn't adjust that.
that's just a thought. That's a suggestion from the mind.
It was good to know. I'll bring it up as we debrief.
I was only there Saturday during the day and I thought it was a good fair. You know, I picked the day, and it rained the day before, the windstorm had alrety happened.
No, Saturday
It was
pleasant.
a very pleasant day.
Friday was really wet. I got soaked.
It was a great rain,
Really muddy.
but it was a really good rain.
That was the first time the team branding has ever been rained on.
Really?
And nobody could remember it ever being rained
How did
on.
the kids show their animals? How did that
They
go?
all got soaked. All the big showmen got soaked.
Okay, I'm gonna close the budget hearing at 12 noon. Entertain a motion, or I would make the motion to approve resolution number 2021-21 in the matter of adopting a supplemental budget and making appropriations to Predator Control Fund 243 and Public Health Fund 24505.
I'll second.
Seconded to approve resolution number 2021-21 in the matter of adopting a supplemental budget and making appropriations to Predator Control Fund 243 and Public Health Fund 245045. It's an amount of $804,601. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
And opposed. Motion carries. Okay, so we have our to-dos. We're gonna get our comments to Suzanne. And then we'll get that, I'll get that to Dominic. Okay, quarterly budget date is set.
We'll get the word out on that.
Yep, I'll have Carrie email everybody. Oh, and we'll fix, and fix the resolution. And send in front of us.
You two have some comments on the fourth paragraph addition.
I'm gonna see what Pete comes up with,
Okay. On the fourth paragraph.
the one we're gonna add.
Right, but then I'm talking about the resolution that Dr. leaves, that our,
Oh, yeah.
we gotta take care of that one too.
So.
To bring
who's
back
gonna
before the
take
next
care of
meeting.
that?
You.
Okay, all right. I'm glad you clarified that.
We just nominated you. Thanks, Patty.
Okay, just check it.
That's clear.
Yeah, I like it, I think.
And as far as, Dag provided this, that we've been doing the telephones parts, we've been providing what we're supposed to, but
Yeah, we're not.
doing this and what we're doing downstairs, I guess, let's try this for a few months and.
Well, and then when people come, they can at least hear the meeting. The reason why they packed it in here and we can't move them in and out is there's no audio. And so we've arranged some audio and that will help.
And we
one
can
of the
look
things-
about moving that too, and maybe doing some things there.
One of the
Yeah.
things that Dag expressed to me is that it's always, or maybe it was on an email, I can't remember. It takes their staff, including Carrie and to end up being facilitators of when there is a large public attendance, at least just letting them know it's downstairs, you know. And I think that on days when we have that kind of turnout, we're just gonna need Carrie or someone to help, you know.
Yeah.
The flow of things. I mean, most
Yeah,
meetings we won't, but occasionally there will be that.
it's like, do I get the sheriff's department over here? If people are gonna be often about masks? No, because they've said they're not gonna be the mask place. But someone like Carrie just saying, hey, we
can
really
work with
prefer
the
you wear a
public.
mask. Yeah. Okay. So 12:03 meeting adjourned.
So.
Tomorrow we got the FEMA mapping.
Yes. Here or Zoom. I think there's a meeting about the justice security right now, and then there's regional solutions at 1.
Husband's getting his shoulder shot, so he'll be in good mood for a month. All right. Wish it lasted as long as the interval between the shots.
Yeah.
I can stand anything but pain, right?
So do we need to turn that camera off? We've got the recorder on.
This too. And meeting